Guys, we live in a world of convenience. It's really easy to go to the store, pick up whatever you need. Of course, with technology and just manufacturing processes, we have a lot of stuff. Back at the turn of the century, they weren't so fortunate. When you go to the store and pick up a Bic lighter, they're lighting with flint and steel. But those items have become vital to our everyday life. We're going to take a look at 50 items that if something goes wrong in a big way, that they're going to disappear off the shelves. Of course, we saw it with COVID and toilet paper, hand sanitizers, a lot of different items that were necessary just became scarce or non-existent. And so we're going to take a look at some different items that if something were to happen, or really to stock up now, that this will get you through a lot easier than having to go back to primitive ways. Guys, I think one of the first things is going to be food. Food's going to disappear really quickly when transportation is limited and there's scarcity. People want to eat. You're going to need to eat. You can actually live 3 weeks without food, but your body really deteriorates. You don't have a lot of energy. We need about 2,000 calories. So one of the big things that I think that's going to disappear is canned food. Canned food is considered non-perishable. And so this will give you something that if you stock up on it, you can have it for a long time. In fact, there is no real shelf life on canned food. The heat processes they use, the sanitary conditions. Canned food is a great option. It's heavy, but man, if you need to eat, this will last for a long time. Now, obviously, there are other type foods like dehydrated foods and different survival foods, but you want something that you can stock up on that'll last a long time. Number 2 on the list is ammunition. Especially during COVID, we saw that ammunition just disappeared for a long time. .22 has disappeared a couple of times over the past few years. But anytime we've had any kind of major mass shooting, ammunition dries up. That's happened over 8 times in the past few years. Just one spark and ammunition is going to disappear. So go ahead and have a good supply of ammo on hand. Number 3, magazines. Pistol magazines, rifle magazines. I would go more heavily toward rifle magazines. And of course the handgun or the rifle that you have. And that's definitely a prerequisite, is having some kind of firearm. Because guys, if you have anything and people are desperate, you may have to defend your property and your family. Bic lighter. Super convenient. They come in small 5-packs like this. You can get them while you're standing in the line at the grocery store. I typically grab a pack every once in a while and put it back. And these stack up pretty quickly. Also, any kind of matches, wood sticks are to me the best. But also stormproof matches. These are excellent. I mean, you can get these completely submerged in water and they'll still work. So having a good fire kit put together is smart. But the matches and lighter are going to go first. Things like ferrocerium rods and strikers and different type fire methods, it's going to probably go a little bit later, but they're still going to disappear. Make sure you have cash put back. Cash is going to be very important. If there is a blackout, a utilities blackout, and ATMs are down, a lot of times they can still take cash. And you can't get to your money, so make sure that you have some that you can use to buy the items that you need. Now, over the long term, cash may be absolutely valueless. And that's why I'm really big on stocking up on precious metals, whether it's silver, gold. Right now, gold is at the highest price it's ever been and way above the record. And this has been over the past month. But silver is kind of holding its own. But guys, this isn't necessarily an investment. This is something that you put back in case things go bad. Back during the 2008 economic downturn, many stores opened up with signs in the window saying, "We take silver." This is currency. And to me, the junk silver is some of the best. Then it comes to alcohol. Whether you drink or not, having some whiskey on hand, I mean, it can help with coughs, it helps with medicinal purposes, it helps with pain if you don't have any painkillers. But it can also be used as a barter item. If something really goes wrong, any kind of vices, whether it's cigarettes, cigars, dip, I mean, you name it, it's going to disappear because people have to have it. And so having some whiskey put back, or vodka, rum, gin, whatever you use, or wine, it's going to make a great barter item, but it also has a lot of useful purposes. Toilet paper, there's not a lot of substitutes. And of course, during COVID, we saw the effects of people just running out of toilet paper. Guys, it's really lightweight. You can really stock this up and just put it in an area where you can just forget about it. Just make sure you don't use it up before you have some kind of issue. But guys, toilet paper, again, it's the best way to do what toilet paper does best. And wet wipes. Wet wipes can be a substitute for toilet paper. It's just a lot more expensive, but also wet wipes can help you keep clean, keep your hygiene up. That's going to be very important, especially in a grid down situation, is to keep your hygiene in top shape. The only problem with wet wipes is over time they evaporate, so make sure they're good and sealed. And soap. Soap is going to be one of those things that helps keep you clean. It's going to be important to have a lot of bar soap, or if you want to use liquid soap or shower gel. Those work as well. But you want to be able to keep your body clean. Sickness, disease, and plagues can come really quickly in a grid down situation. Hand sanitizer, we saw what happened with COVID, but this is something that can keep your hands clean and just keep you healthy. And also toothpaste, toothbrushes, all the different things you use to take care of yourself and take care of your body. Water, you can live only 3 days without water. You need about a gallon per person per day. Having bottled water put back, this is fairly inexpensive. Of course, you can get gallons and you can have that water set aside. There are other ways in a long-term situation that you can harvest water. What is convenient, especially up front, is going to be vital. And there are things like this aquatainer, and this holds water. You can take tap water, fill these up, store these back as well. And bleach. Bleach is great for keeping things clean, but it also can purify your water. If you use standard non-scented bleach. The Clorox wipes are great for wiping things down, but your liquid bleach is going to be very important. Again, keep that water sanitized, but also just to keep your counters and areas clean. Propane is probably one of the easiest type fuels to store. It's very stable, it'll last a long time. You can get it in these 1 pound little small bottles, or you can get it up to the 20 pound and more. A lot of times you can have a big 500-gallon tank behind your house. But having propane gives you a lot of options, whether it's a generator, your grill, heaters, a lot of different items. And guys, these disappeared during COVID. But also there's butane. And you can have a butane stove. You can have a propane stove, like a Coleman stove. And so these are items that are very stable. They'll last a long time, and they will disappear if things get really crazy. Having a supply of candles, your decorative candles, you know, the ones that fit into candlesticks with the long candles, tea light candles. Also camping candles. These are 4-hour candles. This is a 4-hour candle. It's really small. And you can get really long-lasting candles to be able to put back, because if the power's out, having a candle light is going to be better than nothing. Ziploc bags are definitely something that you're going to be able to use long-term, and it's good to have a good supply. Duct tape or Gorilla Tape. There's 1,000 uses for duct tape. It's so strong, it can be almost an overkill. So you might want to add some different type tapes, but duct tape is definitely one of those items. It can do repairs, it can stop leaks. There's a lot of different uses for duct tape. And zip ties, being able to repair things, being able to lash things together. Zip ties are great. Manual can openers, definitely a plus. With electric can openers, if you don't have any power, it's going to be really hard to open that can. Having multiple sets of can openers that you operate by hand. Having fishing tackle. A lot of us like to fish. We have the tackle around, but just make sure that you have enough to keep you going. Hooks, sinkers, leaders, definitely bobbers. You can use a stick if you have fishing line. So having just the basic tackle, you can get by with a lot. Vinegar can be used for cleaning. It can be used in a lot of different food preparations. And baking soda, baking powder, salt, all the things that you use for cooking. These items have multi-purposes, and so it's really important to have a good stock of this on hand. Tarps, being able to cover things, being able to hide things, being able to cover your roof if you have a tree or a limb fall through it. There's so many uses for tarps, and so having extra tarps put aside are just going to be excellent. Like these, I have a 2-pack. They're fairly reasonable, and getting some good tarps is going to be important. Which really goes along with trash bags. These are heavy mill industrial strength trash bags or contractor's bags. Typically get these at Home Depot or Lowe's. They are heavy mill. We put these in either our get home bag, go bags. It's just something that has so many different uses to it, and having a big roll of this really comes in handy, but it will go quick. So you might want to buy 2 boxes. Tools, that's something that most households have, but if you don't have a good tool kit or it's just very sparse, make sure that you ramp it up with the right screwdrivers, the wrenches, the hammers. different items that you typically use because you may need these for repair. You guys having batteries, AA, AAA, your 9-volt battery, your CR123s, but you could also have some items that use C-cell or D-cell batteries. We have a battery daddy, we have that thing packed out, we tried to keep it rotated in and out, but having a good set of batteries will go extremely fast. Anything solar, that's going to be a big deal, and any way that you can set up some solar. There are so many different ways to use solar. Even our driveway alarm is on solar, and we have a floodlight on solar, and it works extremely well. Even the little landscaping solar disc that you put around your walkway, having those, actually you can put them in your house, and you can use that for an alternate source for light. Pet food. Very important for a lot of people, and table scraps are fine, but if you're barely getting by on yourself, there's probably not going to be a lot of scraps. Having some pet food put back, of course, obviously you've got to be careful with the shelf life, so maybe buying up some pet food in cans that'll last a lot longer. Having lanterns and the fuel that goes in the lanterns, and also the wick. Wicks are probably going to be one of the hardest things to get once it kind of pans out. So buy some extra wicks, put them back, definitely have the fuel. You can use other alternates for the fuel, but having the lantern itself is great. Buying up seed packs. One thing about seed packs though is they have a pretty short shelf life. You can use them for a couple of years and the yield starts going down. But having seed put back, use it, and then the next year buy it. I would just keep buying seed and putting it back, because if you can't get food, at least you can get through until you can start a garden and get things going. Buckets, anything, container that you can carry water in, that you can carry different supplies in. It's a lot easier than wrapping your hands around a bunch of stuff and trying to carry it. Buckets for water are probably going to be the most used. My grandparents lived through the Great Depression, and they always kept their tinfoil. After they used it, they rinsed it off, folded it up, put it in a drawer. And that told me that there's a lot of uses for tinfoil that are going to be important. Paper plates, cups, plastic silverware. You may not be able to keep your kitchen clean. You may not have a good source of running water. And so having some disposable items will be great. If you have a big party and a lot of friends come over, it's really great to have that as well. Guys, honestly, most of these items we already have in our house, but do we have a really limited supply? These are things that we use on an everyday basis, but having enough put back in case something goes down is just going to save you a lot of sanity, and it's going to make life a lot easier. Again, we don't want to go back to the Stone Age, and the more items that we have that can get us through, the better. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Now obviously there's other type foods like, hello, yep. Take fire starting for existence. Oh my gosh.